Hi everybody, I'm Eric Kiesauer, and this session is about critical illness, accident, and legal plans at Fayette County Schools for Open Enrollment 2020. As you may have heard, we've now established our own separate benefits program outside of Georgia Breeze, and we call it Total Rewards. It's now a program that's managed by your Fayette HR team. It gives them and us more control over the program design and the aspects of education that we can provide you. We have more and better materials and media that explain our plans to you, and it gives us tremendously expanded capability locally to help you understand your plans and the options that you have, get prompt answers to your questions, and then be confident about the decisions that you make for yourself and your family. Why do we call it Total Rewards? Because compensation here really means more than your paycheck. It also includes the board's funding, which is a substantial amount toward things like sick leave, state health, retirement, even Social Security. And it also means the advantage that you get from Fayette County Schools' buying power and their dedicated advocacy of you. They help you make smart, confident decisions. They'll keep your benefits costs as low as possible, and we'll try to help you learn how to do some of that yourself and then resolve problems that you have when things don't go exactly as they were planned. The challenges that we've had here to move to our own plan are primarily the fact that we're coming out of a group with 120,000 employees in it to one that has 2,700 employees. And of course, our goals are to do what? Keep the benefits the same or better if we can than what you had in Georgia Breeze, and keep the costs the same or lower than what you had in Georgia Breeze. As a smaller employer, that becomes difficult to do, either to match the plans exactly, to keep the costs lower. But I think we've done a pretty good job here, and I think you'll approve as you go through this open enrollment to see just what we've been able to accomplish for Fayette County Schools as a standalone benefits program. So for critical illness coverage, we're switching carriers from Aflac to MetLife. The plans are nearly matching. Very difficult to match plans like this with each other. The various carriers do not work that way, where they're literally matching plan provisions, where they might on coverage like dental or life insurance. We don't have that same option within the critical illness world. So we've come close to matching the plans, but not exactly. We're changing the name now from Select to Standard and Select Plus to Premium. Across the board, we're using that new terminology of standard and premium to indicate plan options so that you have a better idea of what those two words mean. On most, you're going to see lower cost. For employee on critical illness, your costs are going to be lower for the same amounts of coverage by anywhere between 15 and 35%. With the spouse, it will be a little bit more difficult. You'll see savings from 0 to 29% when you're purchasing smaller amounts like the $5,000 level. You'll see a little lower savings than that at the $10,000 level. And at the $20,000 level or higher, you may actually see that your cost is a little bit higher. There won't be very many people affected by that, but some of you will see higher costs in situations where you're purchasing larger amounts of coverage. Children are now part of the critical illness plan automatically. That has an interesting effect of having people bear the costs that have no children. So we've now broken that out where coverage for kids is optional. And then those that have spouse coverage with 20,000 or more, those people will see an increase in their costs that was unavoidable. Hopefully you'll find that you'll be saving enough money and all the other benefits that are offered to you that it will be an inconsequential amount and not a big deal, hopefully. So critical illness is really designed to pay you a lump sum of money if you're struck with a list of critical illnesses. Generally speaking, I'm not a favor of buying extra medical coverage. You already have a great medical plan in state health. No matter which one of the options you choose, you have great out-of-pocket limits. So typically, I wouldn't think that it would be necessary for people to be buying extra coverage. What I like about this offering, which has always been part of your plan, is that by paying a lump sum immediately when you get a diagnosis, as opposed to reimbursing you for expenses that you have an amount of cash right up front. And being able to buy just a $5,000 benefit, which is what I recommend most people do when it comes to this kind of coverage, is that you literally have your entire out-of-pocket limit on most of the plans covered by a $5,000 benefit if you're struck with any of these unfortunate diseases. So That's what I like about it. It enables you to cover that without purchasing a richer medical plan and spending a lot more money than you'll spend on a little bit of critical illness coverage. The list of things that trigger the benefit are pretty much the same as they were in the AFLAC plans, but there's no longer a coma benefit on this list. It's included in the accident plan, but not in the critical illness plan. But the big improvement that we did get by changing from AFLAC to MetLife is now Alzheimer's is covered. So if you get a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, that also triggers the 100% benefit in the plan. As frequent as we're hearing about more and more diagnoses of Alzheimer's, I think this is a great addition to the coverage. You can choose between $5, $10, $20, $30, $40,000 of coverage. We really aim you to the lower amounts of that coverage for reasons that I explained earlier. I think that amount of coverage is enough to supplement your medical plan so that you really don't see out-of-pocket costs there. So I think that might be the best advice. Of course, if you have cancer in your family, then larger amounts may make sense for you. The beautiful part about these plans is that this coverage is all guaranteed issue. So as long as the diagnosis takes place while you are covered by the plan, you have a benefit. That's the only rule. The diagnosis has to take place when you're covered by the plan. The only place we run into gray area with that is is usually in the area of recurring cancer. So there can be some gray areas there and interpretation on that. But generally speaking, if the diagnosis happens for the first time when you're covered, then the benefit's payable. I got a couple sample prices here on the screen for a $5,000 benefit because, again, I want to emphasize it's pretty darn inexpensive to have a benefit of $5,000. And when you think about the out-of-pocket limit on the various medical plans, it gets you there. So somebody that might be young and healthy would probably choose the bronze plan in the state health benefit plan. Costs the least to be in that plan. The only problem is I could be young and healthy, but if I have a breast cancer history in my family, I might be bothered by that and might think I should be buying the silver plan or the HMO plan or the gold plan, spending a lot more money to have a better health plan. This gives me the ability for just a few dollars and otherwise being healthy to stay in the bronze plan and spend a lot less out of my pocket, but still know that I've got that expense covered if it should happen to me. So I feel like it's a hedge against higher costs associated with, say, the bronze plan, and it lets me stay in that coverage. In addition, now we have an accident plan, and in the old plan, that was, again, switching from AFLAC to MetLife, a near match for the current plan component. But in the old offering, the accident coverage was really added to the lower critical illness plan to comprise the higher critical illness plan, the so-called Select Plus plan. So now this accident coverage is available to you separately. You can buy the low plan and the accident plan and basically get to where you were with the high option plan before, or you can buy them separately, independent of one another. It doesn't really matter. The cost of the plan is about the same as it was before. It's a near match with the current plan. So basically we have kind of almost a direct replacement here, except for the fact that you can purchase it separately. The accident plan also pays lump sum benefits for a long list of accidental injuries. When I read that list, I often think it's kind of a random list. So there's not a lot of design to it, but it does, what we have available here is essentially a duplicate of what you had before. Okay, it also includes a $25,000 accidental death benefit, which the old plan didn't. So that's a pretty significant additional advantage. When you're in the accident plan, everybody that's in it has got a $25,000 accidental death benefit. You can look at the complete details of this plan and any of the plans that we talk about on your Fayette County Schools website. All the details are there if you really want to inspect, the list of accidents and that sort of thing of this plan. But basically, it's very, very similar to the prior accident coverage that you had. Here's the cost, and again, as I said, it's a fair amount of money for accident coverage. So from my standpoint, counseling you, accidents don't happen all that often. So while there's a long list of things covered, most people don't encounter those things. If you have a very active lifestyle, if you have very active kids, then this might be something that is really helpful to you because the lump sum benefits will help you meet deductibles in the plan. They'll help you meet your out-of-pocket limit, not unlike the point that I made earlier to you about the lump sum critical illness benefits, okay? To me, if you're prioritizing, this might be something you push down on your list. Maybe you push it off your list just because accidents are not all that common. And when you look at what you have to spend for this, it may or may not be a benefit to you and your family. Again, the active family may be the one that benefits the most, okay? So, and it may help you from picking a more costly healthcare option. And then finally, we have a legal plan in the Georgia Breeze system, and this is one of those scenarios where we can't really duplicate the plan at all. It's just coming out of that larger group. We're not able to come up with a direct match. We've greatly simplified the offering. There's now basically a high option and a low option, and there's a rate for each. That's a lot simpler than 3 different plan options and 2 rate tiers for employee and family. For some people, that'll be a blessing. For other people, you may have liked to have all those various options. But 2 simple plans. They're a little more costly than their similar options were before. This is the one place in all the benefits where we weren't able to achieve that goal of same or better benefits at same or lower cost. But it is the only one in the array where we would say that. There's still 2 great options here to choose from, and I think we have about 350 people in the system that are taking advantage of this plan. So it's a minority of folks, but still over 300 people participating in the plan. These plans are covering legal services for a wide range of issues. Again, there's the high plan or the lower plan. We're going to call them the standard and the premium plan, depending on what your needs are there. Look again on the benefits page in the Fayette County Schools website and take a look at what the 2 different plans cover. If you're in these plans today, you're going to see a lot of the same things that you see in the Georgia Breeze plans. It's just going to be a 2-plan division of those services instead of multiple plans and multiple options. So I hope that works out well for you. It is one of the, we have to say up front, it's the only plan in the array that we have to surrender and say we weren't able to quite duplicate the benefits and the cost. So as you progress with your open enrollment, remember you're always starting with the Fayette County Schools website. We've assembled everything there that we think you might need to make your decisions. The expectation is you don't have to Google anything. You don't have to go to any insurance company websites to find information. Always start with your own Fayette County Schools website and look at the benefits section there. We think we've got all the resources there you could possibly need. So that's it for this little segment of our presentation. If you have further questions, you have your benefits folks to call on here in Fayette County Schools, and you can simply email us at openenrollment@mail.fcboe.org. We've got a team of people manning that email address. You'll get a prompt answer, you'll get a written answer that you can depend on, and you'll get it quickly. That's your best resource for asking questions by email. Also, we'll be doing meetings at every school and work location throughout the early parts of open enrollment. So that may have already happened by the time you look at this video, or it may be about to happen, but I hope we'll see you there and be able to answer any questions that you have in that session that we haven't answered here or by email. So thank you for your attention. Best of luck with the rest of your open enrollment. I hope this was helpful to you.